All right, so warm greetings to you. Thank you so much for joining us on this very special conversation that we're having about Umunya, the Umunya community in Oyi local government area of Anambra State, which actually is supposed to be called Omambala. I am very privileged to have my big brother, be able to understand in order to drive not just the community, but the Igbo nation and the rest of Africa, along in the path that it is supposed to walk. And so I am very, very privileged to be here with Engineer Dr. Nwachukwu Lawansi, a man that I consider a mentor and very knowledgeable in the history and the issues related to the Umunya community. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this
Thank you,
day. Yes, sir. And so very quickly, I know you're a very busy man, and so I'm just going to go straight into the conversation. And for me, I believe that the best place to start from is to know who was Nya, the history. Who is this great man that we have all come to know as our ancestor, by whom we are called Umunya. If you can share a bit about him, please.
Okay, so we talk about Nya. Umunya simply means children of Nya.
Yes, sir.
Nya is the founder of the town.
Okay.
He is the son of Eri. It can be said one of the sons of Eri,
okay,
the ancestor of Igbo nation.
Okay.
So Eri's first son is Eri. So Nya is not the first son, but Nya is the son in charge of the fleet of boats that he had.
Okay.
So it was in the expedition that he founded the area known as Umunya today.
Okay.
He settled in the place called Okuane. That was the very first place where he built his residence. Then he had
Okuane, sorry. Okay.
Okuane, yeah. That's the place where the Obi was launched not long ago.
Okay.
We are all there. So that's where he settled. The river with which he came in is no longer in existence.
Okay.
The river had the tradition had it that the river took the staff of a great medicine man known as Uchebo, and he made the river to recede. So, but then the truth is that the Nya established a community, and he had 3 children, okay, namely Ezi, Ifite, and Ikenga.
Okay.
Ezi is the father of the present Ezi Umunya people.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. While Ifite had Opo, Ojobi, Umuebo,
okay,
Ajapane,
okay,
Isioye,
wow,
and Dukun as his own descendants.
Okay.
Of course, also Amwezike.
Okay.
Isioye, Amwezike, and Dukun. Yeah, while Ikenga has Odumodu Enu and Odumodu Ane. Wow. In all, yes, there are 10 villages.
Okay. Wow.
So, yeah, Nya is the father of those aborigines, the original settlers. But there are people who came in from other areas and were welcomed into the community, being belonging to compounds or kindred in the community. It's believed that some people from Umunya came from Ogidi.
Okay.
Some people from Ukunu were able to have come from Uke.
Uke.
Yeah. Some people from Ojobi were able to have come from Ojoto.
Okay.
Some people from Isioye were believed to have come from Nando.
Wow.
And some people from Ajapane, we are believed to have come from Aba, and so forth and so on.
Wow.
So, but the earliest, as I mentioned, Ezi is the oldest of the children.
Okay.
And that's why the Okuan is in Ezi Umunya.
Absolutely. Okay.
The custodians of the Okuan, which is where the traditional rites are performed.
Okay.
For the Ane, for the harvest, to give good harvests, and for other things. The custodians today are the descendants of Wakonobi.
Wakonobi.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Umunya.
Okay. Okay.
Wakonobi implies that a child does not ever cease in an Obi.
Absolutely.
So the Wakonobis will tell us how the name came about.
Yes.
And other things we need to know about it. So that's about the origin of Umunya.
Okay. So and it's a good thing that you mentioned some of the people that came in and were received as part of the community, because when you go on Wikipedia to study about Umunya, at some point you will notice that it was written, that Umunya now brought in his kinsmen and friends, and they all came together to found Umunya. And the first question that came to my mind is, does it mean that all the people that refer to themselves as Umunya people today are not direct descendants of Nya himself? Just understanding it from that connection.
I've answered the question.
Mm-hmm.
His relatives and friends, when he saw a very fertile land, surrounded by streams, and of course, then there was a big river. The river is receded, but there are still the source of the river is still there. It is called Otita.
Otita.
Yes.
Okay.
So when he saw a very fertile land, of course, his friends and relatives came and joined.
Okay.
And but everyone was welcome to be part of the community.
Absolutely.
That's why today there's no discrimination whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Yes, to anyone. And no one wants to recount who came from where.
Absolutely.
What's important is that we are all people of Umunya.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is wonderful. And now, sorry, you mentioned that we also had brothers and sisters who came to join us, like from Isioya, you had people from Nando, Ojobi from Ojoto, Ukunu from Uke, Eziomonya. There was another community you mentioned that, where they came from, some of the people in Eziomonya.
Some came from Ogidi.
Ogidi, absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the names of the children and grandchildren of Nya, like Ezi, Ifite, Ikenga, and then their children as well. I don't know if it's possible to get the meanings of the names or the reason behind Nya calling his children by those names.
Yes, as I mentioned, some other contributors will assist us. But if you check, you see that in Igbo land, so many communities always have Ezi and Ifite.
Yes.
There are sometimes we call Ezi and Ifite.
Yes.
So Ezi and Ifite are there.
Okay.
Then Ikenga is equally there.
Yes.
So Ezi being named the first child and Ifite the second child.
Okay.
Then now I have the third child, it's called Ikenga. Okay. The meaning is given to us by other discussants. Well, that is the situation now. Okay. Then the other children, there were the names that the grandchildren, as you mentioned, like Ajapane was because of the size that it was said you are Ajabalana.
Ajabalana, okay.
So there are other reasons for other things.
Okay.
So, but I will not be able to give all the information here.
Okay.
That's why we the other discussants
that will be
have
joining
to
us.
Yeah,
absolutely. So just from what you said now, Ajabalana, that would mean that it was like there were a lot, isn't it? Plenty of people, like in terms of population.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's wonderful. Now, is it possible to predict when like Umunya, this event that you just told about now, is it possible to predict when it happened?
That would be very difficult to do. Okay. But if one takes it takes time of Eri.
Yes.
And one will say that Umunya must have been at least not more than a century.
Okay.
From the advent of Eri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It couldn't have been up to a century.
Okay.
From the advent of Eri.
Okay. Yes, sir. And then if we can just move a little. So what you're saying is that Umunya must have sailed from Eri.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Then he came to this side to now start his legacy. So if we could look at the issue of the leadership system in Umunya right now, clearly we've had the three kings, and the current the third king is actually still on seat in the person of Igwe Chris Onyekluje.
Yes.
So, but I'd like to know the history of leadership in Umunya before the kingship system began. I don't know if you could teach us a little about that, and if that system is still applied, maybe in our various villages, or if it's been abrogated completely.
Umunya, like most Igbo communities, had republican democracy.
Okay.
There was the age grade system, and it is still there.
Yes.
That when you get up to a certain age, considered the age of reasoning, you form age grades.
Okay.
So the age grades meet to discuss. There's age grade assigned certain functions. There's the one that's assigned leadership and security. There's the ones when the oldest age grades has court with which he decides issues. Then there are still other roles. There's sort of the nobles, which constitute and also
yes,
the titled men.
Okay.
That when someone is considered noble, because of nobility, is allowed to get initiated into the group.
Okay.
Then they equally have their functions.
Okay.
Then we mentioned, as I mentioned, the descendants. I said those the custodian of the Okuane.
Yes.
They are called the custodian. Actual custodian called Ezani.
Ezani. Okay.
Yeah. So he is the Omambala of the community.
Okay.
Recognized as the chief priest of Ane.
Okay.
So he has spiritual roles. Then every community has its own Omambala, every village.
Of course. Okay.
Well, based on the first family to have been there, the first family that to have existed in that place is known as the Omambala of the village. For instance, in Ajapan, they are called Umunya kindreds. So the kindred now knows who is the Omambala of the community.
Okay.
So of the village, but the Omambala of the town is the Ezani from Umunya.
Okay.
So from the Wakonobi family, as I mentioned.
Wakonobi, yes. You said
so. They have the spiritual roles that they play. Then there are deities that have their own functions.
Okay.
And this deity has a priest.
Of course.
There's like in Atman, I know that Isigu, which Isigu.
Isigu, okay. Okay.
A very big festival is attached to it.
Absolutely.
As Ufejioko.
Joko. Okay.
There are still some others as Atu.
Apple.
It has its function, yes.
Okay.
All of them have their priests as NM. Whereas our community forbids the killing of python.
Wow.
Python, yes, associated to NM. So it's forbidden for anyone to kill a python in the community.
Well, sorry, so forgive me for interjecting, but yes. is NM associated anyway with Enemabo?
With
Enemabo.
NM is a deity, Enemabo is a stream.
Yes.
So Enemabo is likely because those deities create streams in the olden days.
Okay.
For people to use.
Okay.
So it's most likely, and those deities still have places that they are attached to.
Yes. Okay.
Like there's an Nemabo been associated to NM as the stream NM carved out. Okay. There are still Atu stream, which must have been from the Atu, yes.
Okay.
So in Ghana.
In Ghana.
Been associated with Pankene.
Wow. Okay.
So forth. So all these are the streams that have been there to serve the people's needs. So when people come together and establish a deity to worship, they now ask for what they desire. Among the things they may desire will be flowing water.
Yes.
So that's how it had been. So all those ones, the chief priests have their functions for their respective deities, and each one has its own duties.
Okay.
Then the masquerades have their duties.
Yes. Okay.
They have courts. Just like the Zenoza, and the Ojiani have their own courts.
Yes.
But the courts are for definite functions.
Okay. Okay.
So the Ezan is the chief priest, as I mentioned.
Yes.
Instead of Ani, which is to ensure harvest.
Okay.
So everyone has his own role. The Zenoza have their own role. And the ruling age grade has its own role.
Yes, sir.
And there's an age grade assigned to oversee marriage.
To oversee marriage.
Right, to ensure that it conforms to standards.
Wow. Okay.
So oversee marriage rights that they are performed.
Yes, sir.
And as stipulated, they are the ones that will check the drinks, the goods, the yam, and ensure that everyone conforms to the standard in the community. It's called those age grades are still there. There are age grades for sharing and so forth and so on. So all those, everyone has his own function. You graduate from one function to the other. You become an Ujiani. Okay. The Ujiani are the ones that are expected to perform the judicial functions.
Judicial functions, Ujiani, okay. Okay.
While the Zenozo is like the House of Lords.
Yeah, House of Lords, okay. Okay.
They do their own.
Yeah.
So then, but things are still done. Most of auditions are taking Anjara meeting.
Yes.
A gong sounds and people gather in village square.
Wow.
Everyone's opinion is as good as the others.
Absolutely.
No, does not give you advantage. Neither does it give you disadvantage.
Okay.
So you come in, everyone speaks his mind. Then the decisions are taken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
In some instances, the consultations are made to those oracles I mentioned.
Okay.
Depending on what the definite issue at stake.
Yes, sir.
So that's what the village was being governed, and so peacefully until the government of East Central States decided that every community should have a traditional ruler.
Okay, so it was the government of East Central State that established that, and not the colonial administration.
It's the government of East Central State. There had been, the white men came,
okay,
and seeing that the Igbos were Republican, nobody was the ruler.
Okay.
Over others.
Yes.
They then established warrant chiefs.
Warrant chiefs, okay.
People who were giving government warrants.
Yes, sir.
To guard over others.
Yes.
Courts were established. Those warrant chiefs would sit in courts.
Yes, sir.
In our own case, there was the Edomana courts.
Edomana.
And the Edomana, E-D-O-M-A-N-A.
Okay. Edomana court, okay.
And Igwedo court, which is an appellate court of appellate jurisdiction.
Wow. Okay.
So those warrant chiefs were the ones that would usually sit in court. Although others with judicial training may be part of it, like white men can be there.
Yes.
But the warrant chiefs sit in courts. They have the warrants.
Yes, sir.
But finally, yes, those ones were not installed according to any tradition.
Absolutely.
So the white men would pick somebody and who would do their bidding and give him warrants. Okay. Now, this time around, following the edicts, the people will now choose somebody.
Yes.
And follow traditions that the Omambala, the Ezani, would be the one to crown the person.
Okay.
Then the head of Ojiane,
okay,
will give him a staff.
Staff of authority, okay.
And the head of Nzen also will give him the sword, the judicial sword.
Okay.
So that has now been the practice. Since the first one, Igwe Professor Menakaya.
Yes, sir.
Found in 1973.
Yes.
Then he died in 1985.
Yes, sir.
Then in 1995, Igwe Ebe Nwanebu. His father was warrant chief.
Yes.
His father was the warrant chief, Igwe Nwanebu Okocha.
Yes, sir.
So Igwe Ebe Nwanebu was crowned.
Yes, sir.
And in 1998, Igwe Chris Onyeku. 1997, September 1997, Igwe Chris Onyeku was crowned.
Yes, sir.
That's how it has been.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. It's interesting because even that means even the concept of separation of powers was existing, in the Umunya community. It's very interesting. And then there's also the Ilomwebo. I'd like to know a little more about the Ilomwebo, and then I'll come back to the Umunya. But Ilomwebo just came to my mind, and I wanted to know a bit about it and how it fits into the system that you had just mentioned now.
In the normal Igbo traditional courts,
yes, sir,
there are no lawyers.
Yes.
And there were hardly liars.
Absolutely.
So if a doubt exists over anything,
okay,
a normal thing was for people to take oaths.
Okay.
So people would not, nobody would believe me he said he was lying, would like to take an oath in the normal setting.
Yes.
So Ilomwe became a place made a secret, considered secrets.
Okay.
They'll tell our people not to give us the more details, that people don't tell lies.
Wow.
And in Umunya tradition, when you remove your shoes and you are putting your legs on the ane,
Yes.
it's seen as a covenant that you are standing with an ane. So you cannot lie, otherwise ane will, and which means the earth,
yes,
will work against you.
Absolutely. Okay.
So when we get to Lumwebo and people remove their shoes and stand there, they are expected that whatever they say will be the truth.
Yes, sir.
So the Ilumwebo has its own significance, and being considered a consecrated place, that is the place where the traditional rulers are coronated.
Okay.
On the day of coronation, the people will gather at Ilumwebo, and the traditional ruler will be presented to the people.
Okay.
And when there's no dissension, the Omambala will be called upon to put the crown on his head, and that's how we get the Omambala who is Ezan.
Yes.
That's how we get a traditional ruler.
Of course.
Then he's given a staff of authority and a sword,
Okay.
a judicial sword.
Yes, sir. Okay. So as you were speaking, I was just trying to fix the various units that you had talked about, should I say in their categories. So will it be proper to say that Ndinzenozo would maybe represent the legislative arm of the governance system, and Ojiane will represent the judicial arm?
Yes.
And then the age grades who would usually provide security and leadership will represent the executive arm?
Age grade represents the security. That's the security.
Security. Okay. Okay.
The age grade enforces the laws.
Okay. So which group would you now say was performing the executive function? Maybe the ones that were at the helm of affairs, as it were.
Then, as we said, there's usually a general assembly.
Okay.
In which things are decided.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
The guns sound, and everyone come to the village square. It may be Lumwebo, it may be another village square.
Okay.
And issues are discussed and decisions are taken.
Okay. So at the General Assembly, that arrangement is made, and then everybody subscribes to it, and then you have mainly the age grades that will make sure that these things are properly implemented.
Yes, enforces what is discussed.
Okay, wonderful.
Wow. Sometimes they employ masquerades.
Okay.
Sometimes they can do so with masquerades.
Wow. In fact, the subject of masquerades and festival is going to be for another episode, because I have like a million questions to ask there. But then, for today, you mentioned the python. So it means that in Umunya, the python is also a sacred animal.
Yes, the python is a sacred animal. You don't kill, you don't eat python. If you kill python, you perform funeral rites as if a human being died. So is the law. There are still some exemptions, like I learned that if a python crosses the water, that be killed.
Okay.
But I'll advise no one kills anyone, even if it crosses water.
Wow.
Another sacred animal called Oba.
Oba.
Yes, that is a sea reptile.
It's a sea reptile.
Yes, it looks like alligator.
But not a crocodile.
Not a crocodile, yes. Probably alligator. I don't know. Those who know more than me will now tell us the English name.
The difference. Okay.
Probably right. A species of alligator, yes.
Okay.
It's not cute.
Okay.
And there is still another, I think, tortoise.
The catfish?
I don't know. No. They will kill catfish and eat catfish. There was one musician, one ignorant musician started singing that we are forbidding catfish. That is a lie. But since
Okay.
I don't know, since tortoise is being forbidden, notice that in an map where you mentioned,
Yes, sir.
the fishes there are not killed.
Okay.
Fishermen don't fish there.
Okay.
That is an map, but that does not mean in any way that Umunya will forbid catfish. We eat catfish.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think tortoise. I don't know, but I cannot tell more categorically on tortoise. But those who know more will tell us.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This is a whole class. This is a whole class. In fact, I am writing and I've filled 2 pages already. Okay. I'm telling you, this is so exciting for me. Now, I wanted to know, before the colonial administration, when you also read on Wikipedia, you will notice where they talked about the invasion of Umunya, and immediately made me wonder if we had Umunya, being victims of slavery, or any other, because I wanted to truly understand what that invasion was all about, and if there were sons and daughters of Umunya that were ever carried away as slaves.
Naturally, Umunya, their main occupation was farming.
Okay.
But they were hunters.
Okay.
They were great hunters.
Wow.
So being so, yes, hunting was a major trade because they had a lot of forests.
Okay.
And naturally, the hunters would protect the communities.
Absolutely.
From invasion.
Yes.
But like every country, where wars fought. Some villages were wiped out, are no longer in existence today, that existed.
Wow.
And the likelihood is that those things were ascribed to war.
Okay.
So those myths are now extinct.
Okay.
But it made people to start living, coming together, to stay together.
Absolutely.
So that they'll be able to invade us. Okay. So a lot of wars were fought.
Okay.
Some were even done without firing a shot. Some were concessions were made, and naturally, in those oracles there, such things are usually predicted and precautions taken before they happen.
Absolutely.
So I will not be able to give very elaborate information on that, but I know that they happened.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. So back to the Ojiani and the Zenozo and the age grades and the first son of Nya, and Ezani. It means that these institutions are still functional and they are still relevant in the Umunya community even till date.
These institutions are still there.
Okay.
They are supposed to still be functional.
Okay.
But the so-called civilization and modernization,
okay,
always comes try to encroach,
absolutely,
on the system as they exist.
Yes.
The Omambala is supposed to be the first, as I don't know how to, but this, just like the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Okay.
Okay. So that is supposed to have such a relevance.
Yes.
But the matter is, when the people don't worship at Yopuane, the people someone goes to his Catholic church or maybe Pentecostal church, he might not listen to the Omambala. The instance of people killing the python and believe that they got away with it. There are stories. I've not witnessed anyone, but I have stories. So such things can happen. If you reach in Achebe's arrow
of God, yes, it came to my mind.
The python in the box.
Yes.
So as to claim bravery. Inside, he was so cowardly that he couldn't come out and kill a python.
Yes.
But if he makes a python to die of suffocation, he will be exonerated that he didn't kill a python. Python was suffocated. And said that I could go behind and boast that I put a python in the box and he died. So you understand? So such things still happen. With the masquerades, women are supposed to stay away. Even things that concern masquerade are not supposed to be discussed in presence of women.
Okay.
But today, I'm sure that even women don't say discuss things that concern masquerade. So it's no longer so moderation has really encroached into the affairs of the community, that community, and every other community. The night masquerades can no longer perform because electricity is all over the place. It will be impossible for a night masquerade in which the nakedness, the masquerade perform naked to be performing when there's electricity shining. So and so forth and so on.
Yes.
So those things are there.
Yes.
But then they are still there.
Okay.
The Isigu festival is still being performed.
Absolutely.
They are for masquerade. Are for market.
Are for market, yes.
So that for market belong to art.
Okay.
A new market now exists along the expressway.
Absolutely.
No one knows whether Atu still has any presence there.
Okay.
Then the yam, the Annie is the side that does libation for there to be a bumpy harvest of yam.
Okay.
I don't know how many people that still cultivate yam. So that the side will be talking about. If someone is like I'm in Port Harcourt now, earning a living. I don't know whether he performed libation. I can't go back to him to say this year's harvest is plenty. So have this one as my tithe. Because certainly I did not grow yam.
Wow.
So and so forth. So it's like that moderation has really the advent of religion, the three things that a man is noted for in Igbo land.
Yes.
Are the number of wives you have.
Yes.
The size of your barn.
Size of your barn.
And the number of titles that you have taken. So you can now see that the titles in this case does not concern if you have PhD. Of course, they don't recognize it, and you have if you are a chartered a fellow in chartered accounting, nobody's business. The titles, so people hardly take those traditional titles. People don't cultivate it, so nobody has any size of yam ban.
Yes.
Your children don't inherit your yam ban as before. For when a child gets into an age grade, the father settles in with a ban of yam and with farmlands for the child to start cultivating and get married and build his own family. Yes. So today, I don't see any father settle. Your father settles with a university degree, and you go to the city and start hustling. So that's a complete fake case. So then, of course, nobody marries there. That time, if you have plenty wives, you now have plenty farm employees. And you have plenty children, have plenty farm employees. So people work in your farm and they are bounty harvest. So today, if you have plenty wives, you have the prospect of having a broken head. So it no longer shows the worth of a man. So you see how moderation has really eroded on our culture, and not only in Umunya, it's in the entire
Igbo land.
The church will now preach celibacy. Obviously, white men, not celibacy, even monogamy. Yes. White men are monogamous because they permit divorce when people are not compatible.
Yes.
The African case, they accept the monogamy, but feel ashamed to divorce freely, thereby dying in silence. So you see, so when Chinua said that the white man has put a cord in the thing that held us, he wasn't joking. And that's why I like Chinua Achebe. His book, Things Fall Apart, simply showed me that the white men came to destroy our affinity.
Our way of life.
Yes, in no longer at ease. I saw it clearly.
Yes.
That the white man brought a system that threw confusion into the whole place. And they believe that Africa is corrupt, no matter what. That is when the white man's opinion of Obioko for taking bribe. But Achebe explained to us that Obioko took bribe.
Wow.
Because the white man's system is, and you saw it also in the arrow of God.
Arrow, absolutely.
Got this location.
Yes.
At the time of the test. So and use the opportunity to make people to come to the church.
Yes.
So to the village square. Right on.
Wow. Wow. This is amazing. Okay, so I was going to ask again concerning the issue of the slavery. You know, something has been going on in the last 5-10 years, you know, in Africa. You have a lot of people, blacks, you know, of African descent in the US, in Canada, in the UK, tracing their ancestry to particular Igbo communities and other communities in Africa. You know, you've had Wesley Snipes, T.D. Jakes, Forrest Whitaker. They have all been able to trace their ancestry to Igbo land. And so I was wondering if there's been anyone that traced his ancestry to Umunya, maybe someone on record, you know, that you might know who has traced his ancestry to Umunya.
So far, it's impossible for anyone, or difficult for anyone to trace his ancestry to Umunya.
Okay.
Yeah, many people must have been taken away as slaves. Wow. But those slaves might not have told their descendants.
Yes,
so the thing is that people have, some African Americans have located themselves as Omambala people. At least I was in the Olilio Biberi, which is the festival in which we celebrate the coming of Fairy. I was in Obuga Gleri when it was performed last time.
Okay.
And some time ago, some African Americans were able to identify themselves as Omambala people.
Okay.
But it's because difficult to say the exact town
that they come from. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because then the DNA can no longer be so potent, having been hundreds of years away, some marriages with white women and so forth and so on, you know? Yes. So it's difficult.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And so, I don't know. I know I've taken a lot of your time. This is like a classroom for me. There are so many things I never knew, you know, and interestingly, that song that you were talking about, you know, about the catfish, I actually, you know, watched and listened to that song, you know, and I was almost converted into believing, you know, that song, you know, that information, you know, if not for what you just talked about now, distinguishing the issue of fishing from Omambala, you know, yes, from eating catfish.
The musician did not get his facts right. Since I was born, as you see, that catfish have been sold in Umunya.
Okay.
I'm sure that you have eaten as you see in Umunya, and you know that your parents will not have violated the tradition. So they are being sold by Umunya women in the same market, and Umunya people buy them and used to cook. So certainly Umunya does not forbid us use.
Yes.
But in hearing that fishes were not harvested from an Omambala river, instead of getting their facts right.
Yes.
Those fishes could still flow from an Omambala to Wangene or any other stream, and they'll be harvested. But that has nothing to do with the forbidden catfish.
Okay. Now that we're still talking about animals, there's a question I've been meaning to ask.
Okay.
All through my life, you know, I didn't have the privilege of growing up in Umunya per se, but, you know, we're always coming home. And throughout my visits, even till date, I have never heard a dog bark in Umunya, and I've never seen a dog in Umunya. I've been very interested in finding out why.
Okay, in Umunya, 3 animals are being forbidden from being reared.
Okay.
A dog,
Wow.
dogs,
Okay.
pigs,
and
drake. What do you call? What's the other name again? Obagu. That's drake.
Obagu. That's ducks, huh?
Ducks.
Ducks. Yes. Okay.
So the dogs eat a lot. I can go to somebody's female farm and consume the cocoyam and other things. So they were causing quarrels.
Okay.
Yes. A pig, apart from the dirtiness, can even eat a child.
A child, yes. Yes.
So, and for that, it's being forbidden by the town.
Okay.
And a dog can bite someone to death.
True.
So dogs have been forbidden, but of recent, quite unfortunately, people now rear dogs.
Wow.
Not long ago, a dog beat someone to death.
In Umunya.
And yes, police had to come to settle. These are things that we are forbidden. But you know, the advent previously, the town used to enforce the traditions.
Yes.
But as it stands today, so many things are wrong. That's why you can see dogs. Although it's now, I think, without one killing somebody, most of the dogs are now restricted in the owners' homes.
Homes, yes.
But still, the fact remains that this is something the country forbids and should not be there.
Absolutely, I agree with you. So you see that there's always a reason behind everything that communities do, and some of the times when people are not properly educated in that area, they will definitely either defile those standards or even do things that will completely, cause the disalignment, as it were. And then finally, so that I can release you to face the day's work. Please, it is usually said that when you want to know the kind of things that existed in a particular community, you look at the language or the words that were existing in that community.
Yeah.
So we have like Ago or Dum, representing the big cats.
Yes.
So I've been also wondering, did we ever have big cats in Umunya? How were we able to identify, or is it just as a result of the Igbo language?
No, it's not. Going through history, yes, as I mentioned, people are hunters.
Yes, sir.
So many animals were there.
Okay.
So that some are extinct now around those forests.
Yes, sir. Clearly.
So the cats were there.
Wow.
The big cats, wild pigs were there.
Wow.
Even the large pythons that were there. So hunters really dealt with them. Of course, grass cutters and others were there. Antelopes. But with hunters, with the estate, the forest becoming a housing estate, those animals are no longer being seen there.
Wow.
And but they were there. They were there. The hunter, if he kills a lion, is really highly regarded. He has to get the skin and hang in his obi.
And become a Obuago.
Yes, to show the feats he has performed. If you take a time
so we had people like that in Umunya.
Yeah, we are great hunters. Yes, even some that are recent hunters of repute, but they are currently hunter right now. But we are great hunters not long ago.
Wow. Wow. This has been most educative. In fact, I'm just thinking of the kind of things I'm going to be saying to my children, man. This is a whole class, and I'd like to thank you so much, sir. The next time we meet, I'd like for us to talk about the festivals, in Umunya and the meaning of these festivals. And then if we have the time in the same episode, talk about, issues of culture, like with regards to marriage, you know, and other ceremonies that, you know, people believe, you know, identify with and perform, you know, because there's just so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And I'm glad that you were also available to answer some of these questions, and the fact that, you know, everyone that is watching is encouraged to ask questions. I mean, I wouldn't have known about, you know, dogs until the explanation you just gave. And this has been in my heart, you can imagine for how long, you know, and oh wow.
It's been a nice time. It's been a great moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In fact, you deserve a big title. I don't know. We're going to appeal to Igwenya.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. This has been an eye-opener.